Welcome everybody, Sports Stuff Hub, episode 42 begins now. And now I'm looking at my screen and I don't hear any feedback, and I'm wondering if I even have sound going on right now. Hold on. It says I do. Fun. Okay, perfect. Donnie can hear me. Thank you, Donnie. For some reason, it's not coming back in my feedback at all, so I was a little concerned. So, episode 42, July 13th, and a fun NFL offseason has taken a little bit of a turn for uneventful. Really, right now, when the headlines are things like the new Big Ben Roethlisberger diet, you know it's a slow offseason. We still have the Aaron Rodgers controversy. We still don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to play in 2021. We still don't know if he's going to be a Packer in 2021. Too many questions remain in the Aaron Rodgers Green Bay Packers saga. We also have the Deshaun Watson continuation. There's been a lot of stuff that's come out over the last couple months. A lot of denials. A lot more women have come forward, but I still have yet to see anything other than, unless I've missed it, anything other than statements from unidentified women. Now, granted, some of them have come forward with names, but Deshaun Watson has denied everything, so I don't know what's real and what's not real at this point. All I can say is I've said this a number of times. If he's guilty, I hope swift, fast punishment, and it comes down on him in full force. If he's innocent, I hope he's cleared of everything, and I hope that he's able to potentially countersue and bring down the entire group of people involved in this, because this did seem a bit like a witch hunt, and like I said, I hope it's not true, but I mean, I'm not going to say whether or not I believe it's true or not yet, but obviously for the sake of a young, talented quarterback, I'm hoping that it's not true, and this was all just garbage that come up. But at the same time, if that's what it was, I think that would probably piss more people off that it wasn't true. So either way, hopefully the truth comes out, and whatever the truth is, hopefully that is dealt with and we can move forward. Obviously, we've also had some major shifts in NFL players going to different teams. Most recently, of note, Julio Jones going to the Tennessee Titans. There's been a number of teams who have made a lot of free agent acquisitions, which happens every offseason, but in a cap-strapped year like what we're seeing this year, where the salary cap dropped 20 plus 30 plus $1 million, it's a lot tougher for teams to fit everybody into their salary cap plans. Now, there was a lot of games that have been played, and I don't know when the bill is going to come due on some of these, because quite frankly, some of these contracts that are back-end loaded or voidable years and whatnot seem a little unrealistic, and it seems like a lot of games were played. Now, the anticipation is the salary cap is going to jump from the 280-ish range that we're seeing this year up 40 plus million to next year. So if that's the case, then a lot of that is going to go away anyways, because teams will be able to remain with their players, and they should be able to renegotiate, restructure, that kind of thing. But you have a lot of guys who took one-year deals on a cheaper deal to stay home in hopes of signing a bigger contract. Case in point, Juju Smith-Schuster, who was offered larger contracts from both the Ravens and the Chiefs and decided to stay home with the Steelers. And his response to why was because of Ben. Well, if Ben plays one more year and then retires, Does Juju stay with Pittsburgh? Does Pittsburgh even offer him an extended contract, a larger contract, because they'll have the salary cap next year with the salary cap jumping $30+ million? Does Juju then stay in Pittsburgh? So there's a lot of questions about what's going to happen after the 2021 season with a lot of these guys who took hometown discounts on 1 years in hopes of landing larger contracts in the future. I see we've got a few people joining us already. Donnie and Taylor, what's up, guys? Glad to see you on. Donnie, referring to the Deshaun Watson topic that I was just covering, said, I hope it's not true, but there's no reason for these women to lie. There's no benefit at all for them. And I agree with that if we're talking about just in general. But there's been too much conspiracy theory that's come out about ties to the ownership and ties to the leadership group within the Texans for the lawyer and whatnot defending the women who are coming forward. And again, we don't necessarily know for sure that all these women are legitimate names. It could be fabricated by the lawyer just because they are. It's interesting that this came out when Deshaun Watson forces the Texans' hand in saying that he will not be a Texan in 2021, and then all of a sudden, days later, boom, here comes sexual assault, sexual charges against him, or it wasn't even charges, I should say, accusations against him, literally out of the blue. And there was no mention of this ever in previous years at all. There was nothing. And so it just seemed a little odd that this all comes out as he is wanting to force his way out of Houston. Now, a couple of the women that have come forward have said that they all of a sudden decided to get involved because he wants to leave Houston, and they don't want him to do the same thing in other cities. I'm sorry, but if you had this problem with him, you should be wanting to protect the people in your own city. I get you want to protect other people in other areas, but at the same time, you should be wanting to protect the people in your work circle and the people who you work around on a daily basis and on a weekly basis. So to wait until he decides to want to leave to come forward just doesn't sit right with me. And again, I'm not saying that it didn't happen. The timing is a little suspicious to me. So that's all I'm saying. And again, if it's true, bring the hammer down on him. Full punishment, everything. If it's not true, countersuit, bring down the entire group of people involved in this, and I hope that he hires private investigators to bring down every single person tied to it. So, I would love to see if this is false. I would love to see the person who got accused go after the people in the people on that were on against him in full force. I would love to see it happen for a change. And maybe that would scare the shit out of some people from ever doing this again in the future. Because we've seen it happen with pro athletes where women have come forward and tried to defame the athlete or the celebrity on bogus charges. And you don't really ever hear anything later on, except for all you hear about is, oh yeah, that guy raped a girl, or that guy sexually assaulted a girl, or that guy did this, or that guy did that. You don't ever hear, well, yeah, he was accused of that, but it ended up being all BS. I would love to see it make national headlines. If he didn't actually do anything, I would love to see it make national headlines that he took down an entire group of people who were trying to set him up. Would love it. Continuing this, Donnie says, timing is suspect. Yes, he said, that sounds a lot like Houston was somehow shielding him That would be insane if they were paying the accusers to stay quiet as long as Watson was in Houston. And and I could see that being the case, but none of these women, if they're outing him now, then that's going to come up. Now, if the team was involved in that, then oh, that would be a shitstorm with a oh man, that would be bad because now you're talking about collusion with the team trying to cover for him, and now the team's going to go down because of it, and we're talking that would go all the way up to McNair. So that would be, I never even thought about the team paying to keep the girls quiet. Now, none of the girls have come out and mentioned anything like that. So I don't know if that's if they're being paid now to come out against him or what, but if that's the case, that's going to come out, and that would be that would be damning to the organization. Holy cow. That would right there create oof. You want to talk about owners who have screwed up in professional sports? If that came out that this sort of thing was going on, Cal McNair would be removed from ownership. And if he's not, he should be. Flat out. Man, that would be nasty if that were to happen. Holy cow. Okay, so moving on from the Deshaun Watson saga, we're hearing tons of stuff around the NFL from the rookie mini camps and from the not even OTAs, the voluntary workouts of certain players that are looking like monsters and certain players that are, showing up and meh, obviously some of the rookies that we've seen, Justin Fields has looked like an absolute stud on the field, and Matt Nagy is still sticking to his guns that Andy Dalton is QB1 in Chicago. Now, he's saying that he's gonna be QB1 on starting, on opening day. I guess that pretty much solidifies the fact that Justin Fields is probably going to be the starter week 1. Who knows? We'll see. Mac Jones has looked solid in Patriots camps. Cam Newton has looked Cam Newton-esque, up and down, inconsistent. Mac Jones has looked solid in the limited reps that I've seen him in, throwing passes and stuff. He looks accurate. He looks crisp. I have not seen Zach Wilson practice at all. I've seen some Trevor Lawrence footage, and underwhelming would be a fantastic way to start off with it, but it's training camp. I don't put a lot of onus on training camp stuff because they're in training camp to practice and to practice on the things they're not good at. If all they're doing is going out and making the same throws and running the same plays that they know they can do, they're not improving their game. Yes, there's time to work on timing with your receivers and whatnot. This is not it. So if they're going out and looking like crap, there's no problems with that. Because this is when they're supposed to be doing things out of their comfort zone in order to improve the things that the team wants to do that they're not that good at. So, Tua throwing, 5 straight interceptions or whatever it was, don't care. I had a big to-do about this on the show about a month ago. I don't care. Now, as long as their throwing mechanics look good, if they're mobile in the pocket, if they're moving around looks good, great. But let's not crown somebody the Rookie of the Year or upcoming Super Bowl champ based on July 13th practice in the middle of summer in 95 degrees and no pads. Don't care. Now, we have some guys who we do care about in the offseason, and those are the guys who are coming off of injuries, such as Joe Burrow, such as Dak Prescott. Do we care that they're at practice? Absolutely. Do we care that they're moving around? Do we care that they're doing drills? Absolutely, because they're coming off of big injuries. And we need to know whether or not they're going to be able to come in and play this year. Dak looks ready to go week 1. Joe Burrow says he's going to be available week 1. At least that's what I've read. Whether I haven't heard it come out directly out of his mouth. I know he wants to be ready for week 1. I know any quarterback that doesn't want to be ready week 1 shouldn't be playing in the NFL. Let's be honest. But those are the types of guys. Saquon Barkley. Do we want to know how he is coming along? Absolutely. So we got to be paying attention to those guys so we know what the Giants are going to look like this year, what the Cowboys are going to look like this year, what the Bengals are going to look like this year. Well, the Bengals, we already know, are going to look like a guy who can throw a 60-yard bomb to a wide-open Jamar Chase from his back because he's not going to have any blocking. So, and I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I have come out and I've said this multiple times that I wasn't happy with the Bengals draft picks because they didn't take Penei Sewell when they could have. And they went with Jamar Chase. I get it. A lot of people, they don't have any wide receivers. Well, that's not true. They do have wide receivers. And they drafted an offensive lineman in the second round. They picked up a couple guys in the offseason. But Penei Sewell is a game changer on the offensive line. He's an anchor on your offensive line. And I've said this so many times, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. But if Joe Burrow improves his time in the pocket enough so that he can get the ball out, and I'm wrong, I'll admit it 100%. Because I want to see Joe Burrow successful. Just not against the Steelers. I want to see Joe Burrow throw 35 touchdowns. Because I want to see the future of the NFL. I want to see these young quarterbacks be successful. Because that's good for the game. It's good for the shield. It's good for the business. Because if Joe Burrow flames out, or if Joe Burrow keeps getting hurt, it's bad for the NFL. Yeah, sure, it might be good for their opponents, but it's bad for the NFL. It's a bad look. When a number 1 overall quarterback gets hurt and can't contribute year in and year out for his team, and he's constantly getting hit, that's not a good look on the NFL. Not just the Bengals, but on the NFL. Now, here is something I've said for a long time. You don't want to be the quarterback getting taken first overall to the team that earned the number 1 overall spot. Unless it's a system like what happened with Andrew Luck in 2012. Whole different story with Indianapolis, because Indianapolis had Peyton Manning, and Peyton Manning was hurt. This isn't a Jacksonville scenario. Jacksonville was just garbage to begin with. And Urban Meyer is going to learn the hard way that the NFL and college are not the same. And now he's got not only his first year as a NFL coach, but now he's coming in with a brand new quarterback, a first-year rookie quarterback, and a first-year running back. And even if he kept Gardner Minshew, even if he kept James Robinson as his starters, they're still young guys. Sure, Gardner Minshew's going into his 3rd season, but it's different. He's got Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne. And he's got some young wide receivers. He's got a young core. My question's going to be, where's the leadership? Where's the veteran presence leadership going to come from on that team? And as what I was getting at is, you really don't want to be the number 1 overall quarterback going off the board. Because most likely, you're going to a bad team. You're going to the, and I can use this pre-2017, you're going to the Browns. You're going to the Bengals. You're going to the Jaguars. You're going to the Raiders. You're going to blah, blah. Teams that didn't trade up, that earned that number 1 overall spot. It's a bad system. It's a bad situation. It's a bad coaching staff. It's a bad management. There's a reason they were the number 1 overall pick. So it automatically sets a lot of those quarterbacks being taken number 1 overall. It puts them way lower than a guy getting drafted in the middle of the first round or late first round. A late first round quarterback most likely is sitting a year because he's learning behind the incumbent. Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, Patrick Mahomes, Alex Smith. Just 2 examples. And you can go back through history and you can find a lot of them. Jordan Love with Aaron Rodgers. Now, we haven't seen Love in action yet, so we don't know how he's going to turn out. But a lot of quarterbacks that are taken after pick number 10, after pick number 12, typically, don't see the field the first year. They don't need to. Because most of the time when a team takes a quarterback in that spot, they've got a starting quarterback. And this first-round quarterback is the quarterback of the future. Better position to draft quarterback. Don't take the guy 1 overall. I've said this from the beginning. I've been saying this for years. When the Browns drafted Baker Mayfield, I didn't want him to take Baker. Not because I didn't want to see Baker twice a year being a Steelers fan, but because I'd watched the Browns select quarterback after 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 quarterback, except for Ben Roethlisberger, and wear them out and kill their career. So, my opinion at the time was take Saquon. Go after Alex Smith. By the way, they did neither. And Baker's doing fine. But the Browns obviously have been getting better. Now, will they continue to improve on 2021 or on 2020? Possibly. They very well could. But they could very well brown this and go 6-11 this year. It's the Browns. They won a playoff game. First time they won a playoff game in 20 years. 20 plus years. Now, the Bengals, same thing. Take a quarterback number 1 overall. And I said don't. I said take Chase Young. They took Joe Burrow. Because obviously they don't listen to me. I wear a Steelers hat, so they wouldn't listen to me anyways. Even though if I had a direct line to ownership with the Bengals, they wouldn't listen to me because I'm a Steelers fan. But I like to think I know what I'm talking about for the most part because I literally break down film. And the Bengals need defense help. And taking Chase Young would have completely changed that defense. Now, the one thing I wouldn't have enjoyed was that would have put Chase Young and Myles Garrett in the AFC North. That would have been bad. That would have been bad. But from a football fandom standpoint, not Steelers standpoint, I believed and still believe the Bengals needed that first. And I remember when I said, don't take Joe Burrow 1 overall, take Chase Young. Everybody said, the next year's draft class is so weak, they need to take a quarterback now. How'd that pan out? Oh, that's right. There was 5 quarterbacks taken in the first round this year. Yeah, that was a weak quarterback class. Weak quarterback class. And where'd the Bengals draft this year? Wasn't it 4th overall? Or 5th overall it was. It was 5th overall. So they went from 1 to 5. And had they not drafted Joe Burrow, had they gone with Chase Young, they probably would have been 2 or 3. Because Ryan Finley probably wouldn't have led the team to more than 4 wins. So let's say the Bengals ended up at 2 or 3. So now you're saying that the Bengals could have had Zach Wilson, which I think Zach Wilson would have been a good fit in Cincinnati versus New York. And I mean that more in a personality role and the type of person Zach Wilson is coming out of BYU. Or they could have had a Trey Lance. Or they could have had Justin Fields. Or they could have had Mac Jones. Or they could have, or they could have, or they could have. Either way, what my point is, they took Joe Burrow because everybody said the 2021 draft class was so weak. Now this year when I've said, don't take a quarterback XYZ, now I'm hearing the 22 draft class is so weak. So I hear that every year, by the way. And we always end up with 2 to 3 quarterbacks taken in the top 10. Okay? I hear that literally every year. So if people are now saying that after 5 quarterbacks were taken in the first round, nay, in the top 15, so we're saying that next year's draft class is weak quarterbacks, does that mean we're only going to see 4 in the first round? I talked about this back in January, quarterback saturation point. I fully believed that we were not going to see 5 quarterbacks taken in the first round. Fully believed that. And I don't believe to this day that we should have. I don't believe Mac Jones should have gone first round. I don't believe Zach Wilson should have gone first round. I do believe that had we seen North Dakota State play fall ball in 2020, that Trey Lance would have proved that he could have potentially even been 1 overall. Now, I'd rather see Trey Lance playing for the 49ers than playing for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Thank God. Plus, I can go to a Seahawks game once a year now and see Trey Lance out of North Dakota State, my alma mater, play football in the pros. Hell yeah, that's awesome. So, I don't believe we should have seen 5 quarterbacks in 2020 or in 2021 in the first round, but that's just me. But it leads me to, then, how many are we going to have? Quarterback saturation point that I talked about in January. Quarterback saturation point meaning that we have an abundance of quarterbacks to where we either don't need to draft or we're going to have really good backups. Now, with 5 quarterbacks going in the first round this year, have we reached that? Because I thought we were there in January. I rattled off a list of the free agents or potential free agents or potential trade people then. And it was deep. It was really deep. And if we're talking about the amount of quarterbacks now that we could see in 2022 changing teams, think about this. The Chicago Bears alone have 2 guys outside of their rookie that they believed are starting caliber quarterbacks. They paid Nick Foles to come in and be the starter. Then they paid Andy Dalton to come in and be the starter. Then they turned around and traded up and drafted Justin Fields. Well, now the Bears have 3 quarterbacks on their roster that they have literally believed could be the starter. So, that's just one team. If we go back to the discussion we had back in January, so I had said that Stafford was on the move. Obviously, we saw it. Jimmy Garoppolo. That still could happen. And if Trey Lance does win the starting gig this year, Jimmy's out. He's not going to want to stay. Well, we have Tua at his place. They got rid of Ryan Fitzpatrick. Deshaun Watson wants out of Houston whenever this saga ends. So there's a quarterback right there. Derek Carr potentially out, either that or Mariota, one of the two. One of the two is gonna go because they both want to start. Trubisky went to Buffalo. He has ambitions of starting, and he's not going to supplant Josh Allen. Jared Goff went to Detroit. Tyrod Taylor, he wants to start. Carson Wentz now went to Indy. What if Carson fails in Indy? Carson's on the move. Or if not, let's not even say fails. Let's say he underwhelms. Let's say Carson Wentz underwhelms in Indy. Indy has 2 young quarterbacks that they drafted the last 2 years. This year, they drafted Sam Ehlinger. And the year before that, Jacob Eason. Maybe it's one of their time. Then they let Carson Wentz go. Or trade Carson Wentz. What if Jameis doesn't get the starting nod in New Orleans? What if New Orleans starts Taysom Hill? What if Jameis goes, well, to hell with this, then I'm out. Ben Roethlisberger's done after this year, most likely. Excuse me. Dak Prescott just got his deal. Sam Darnold went to Carolina. Maybe he's not the answer in Carolina. Matt Ryan, after this year, his contract takes a big downward spiral to the point where he's tradable. Because this year he definitely was not. So Matt Ryan, I mentioned Mariota already. Aaron Rodgers. What if Aaron Rodgers retires? What if he's not in the NFL anymore after this year? What if he's not in the NFL this year? Or just moves? You have Jordan Love and Blake Bortles. So you have a lot of quarterbacks out there that could potentially be on new teams after 2021. And we're talking successful quarterbacks. Quarterbacks who have seen championships. A lot of wins. Records. Touchdowns. Racked up yardage. A lot of them. So, I mean, are we looking at teams like Steelers, for example? If Ben doesn't stay, are they going to ride with Mason Rudolph? Are they going to ride with the Dwayne Haskins? Or are they going to go to the draft? Or are they going to trade? Maybe the Steelers go after Jameis Winston. If Jameis Winston is not happy because he does not start in New Orleans. Because right now, Sean Payton is not named a starter in New Orleans. What happens if Jameis Winston, with his corrected eye surgery, ends up with the Steelers in 2022 and leads them to a Super Bowl? We're talking blowing minds right there. Jameis Winston, the quarterback so many people have just written off after throwing 30 interceptions just 1 year ago. Man, the what ifs in the NFL right now are crazy. Absolutely crazy. What if Ben comes back for one more year? What happens if the Steelers go all the way to the Super Bowl? And Ben loses to Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Ben has spent his entire career not being able to get past Tom Brady in the playoffs. Entire career. It started, get this. It started Ben's career in 2004, where he beat the snot out of the Patriots in the regular season. The Tom Brady-led Patriots. On their way to a 15-1 record, Ben's rookie season. Winning 13 straight games. 13 games. Ben didn't lose a single game in his rookie season because he took over in week 3 against Baltimore. Marched through the playoffs, the number 1 seed. Gets to the AFC Championship game against the New England Patriots, lays a brick. Tom Brady owned him. It was almost a 20-point game. Tom Brady's been the roadblock for Ben Roethlisberger his entire career in the playoffs. The Steelers have never gotten past having to match up against the Patriots in the playoffs. They can't. Tom Brady's got Ben's number. So, what happens if this year Ben comes back for one last ride? Shades of Jerome Bettis in 2005. One more. Going for 7. Goes to the Super Bowl. NFC champion, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady takes down Ben in the Super Bowl because Ben can't beat Brady in the playoffs. Ouch. Would then Ben come back one more year in hopes of Brady retiring or in hopes of not having to see Brady in the Super Bowl the next year? If Ben leads the Steelers to a Super Bowl loss this year, he won't retire. I'll call it right now. I will call that right now. That's my prediction right now. Mark my words. You can mark down this episode if you want. Ben leading the Steelers to a Super Bowl loss. He will be back in 22. He won't retire on a Super Bowl loss. I would almost say he won't retire on a playoffs loss, but a first-round exit, I could see him tucking his tail and kicking bricks. But Super Bowl loss, he won't do it. Not going to happen. He's going to be too wired. He's going to be too, got to do this for the guys. Ben comes back in 22. But all hinging on Super Bowl. Okay, so last couple weeks, we've had some technical issues. I'm hoping that they're fixed. Show has definitely seemed like it's been streaming better tonight. I've seen a couple flashes come up that we are having some minor latency issues, but not near as bad as it was. Now, a couple of things I'm going to get to that I didn't get to before. I had posted on Twitter, damn near a month ago now, my top 10 fantasy quarterbacks of 2021. And actually, it wasn't even that one. It was... I think it might have been my running back ranking. I had some people who had asked about, during the show when we were having some issues, I had put out a ranking. Now I'm trying to figure out which one it was. Maybe it was my quarterback fantasy football rankings. I thought I covered this already. Russell Wilson being my number 1 overall. I'm pretty sure I covered this. It's the last ranking that I show on my Twitter. But I'm pretty sure I covered this. This year, I do believe Russell Wilson's going to have a fantastic fantasy football outing. Now, I don't necessarily believe that the Seahawks are Super Bowl bound, and I don't necessarily believe that the Seahawks would even win their division with how stacked their division is this year. But I do believe that Russell Wilson, with a new offensive coordinator, new game plan. I do believe Russell Wilson is going to get back to doing what he does best, and that's making defenses look stupid and running the ball when they leave the middle of the field open instead of just trying to throw 60-yard bombs to DK and Tyler Lockett. The one thing that I've noticed as somebody who is forced to watch a lot of Seahawks games in this market, I'm just kidding. I watch a lot of Seahawks games throughout the season just because they're the local team. They're always on TV. I always see the highlights. I always see the replays. But then I'm a film junkie. I love breaking down film. Is that when the Seahawks struggle is when Russell Wilson isn't scrambling as much. I have watched him completely take over games with his legs. Not saying anything about, I'm not taking away from his arm one bit. But I've watched plenty of games where they're down 2 scores. And fourth quarter, Russell Wilson comes out. And minor pass rush on him. Boom, gone. 10-yard pickup, first down. Next play, incomplete pass. Play after that, minor pass rush. Boom, 10 yards gone, first down. And he just chunks all the way down the field. Touchdown Seahawks, 1-score game. Defense then shuts down opposing team's offense because that's what Seahawks football is known for doing lately. Russell Wilson does the same thing next drive. Tie ball game. Or takes the lead. I've watched that happen a lot. And the one thing I will say, 90% of the time when the Seahawks are struggling, it's because that's not the game plan. That's not how they're running it. And I don't know if it's Carroll or whatever offensive coordinator they had at the time saying, hey, you need to lighten up on the running. We don't need you to use your legs. We want you to throw the ball. I don't know. Maybe that's being said. Maybe it's not being said. The other times when they're struggling is when he's just getting absolutely obliterated by a 5-man front. But that's neither here nor there. But when Russell Wilson is using his legs the way he can, he's an unstoppable quarterback. He's on par with Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray and, you know, the mobile guys, those mobile quarterbacks who you can't really stop. It's just a shame that he waits until the fourth quarter. Now, granted, I will say, when he does it in the first quarter and second quarter, he does tend to get worn out fast because that's a lot of running for a quarterback to do. So, I mean, and when a quarterback gets exhausted like that, a lot of times it can take a lot of steam from their arm. And so the deep balls aren't as accurate, or they're not on point, or they don't go as far. They don't, you know, a lot of problems that can happen from that. But the Seahawks getting back to a Russell Wilson focused offense to be the quarterback that he wants to be, it's the best thing that they could do. So, before we go any further, I am going to talk a little hobby while we're at it. We have some big releases coming out this week. Tomorrow we have, what do we have tomorrow? What do we have tomorrow? Topps Archive Signature Series Retired Edition Baseball. I knew we had something coming. Topps Museum Collection Baseball. That's a fun product. Luminance Football came out on Friday. This past Friday, I should say. And that product looks good. I went down to a local card shop down in Puyallup and ripped a box, and I hit a case hit Patrick Mahomes, which could potentially be even bigger than just a case hit. There's no defined what it is right now. So I don't know. It just says, Panini just says insanely rare. It's called the Radiance. And I don't have a picture of it handy, but there's one up for auction right now that's at $152 with almost 3 days left. So, case hit-esque quality. I've watched a few breaks and didn't see any. I watched half cases, didn't see any. So I don't know if they're one per case, one per 10 cases. Panini won't elaborate. Panini kind of sucks in that aspect. They don't share information about the products. And it's a little frustrating at times. Because they'll call a Kaboom a case hit. They'll flat out tell you a Color Blast is 1 in 10 cases. But a Radiance is insanely rare. Not how many cases it takes to hit one. Insanely rare. The hell is insanely rare in sports cards? Do you know what's insanely rare? A 1 of 1. That's what's insanely rare. And there's a 1 of 1 Radiance for every card. It's 30 card set. And there's a 1 of 1. That's insanely rare. If there's 10 of them, of each number, or of each card, I mean, that's not insanely rare. That's galactic level. That's not insanely rare. If they're 1 per case, that's not insanely rare. Color Blasts at 1 in 10 cases, that I would probably call more insanely rare. I've only ever hit 1 Color Blast, 1 white normal Color Blast. I've hit 1 of the black Color Blasts out of Obsidian. But I've only hit 1 regular Color Blast, and that was at a collegiate Prism Draft basketball out of a blaster. I have never hit a Color Blast out of a hobby. The regular white Color Blast, never once. I've never hit a downtown out of a hobby. I've hit 2 downtowns ever, and they both came out of blasters. Prism Draft basketball from this past season, and Diamond Kings baseball. It's the only 2 downtowns I've ever hit. Now, Kabooms, forget about it. I hit 7 Kabooms in 1 year. 1 out of a blaster. The other 6, hobby. Granted, 4 of them were basketball hobby exclusive. Crown Royal. Darius Garland. Zion. Trae Young. Giannis. I don't own any of them anymore. I sold them. Can't blame me. Football, though. Clyde Edwards-Helaire came out of a hobby box. Chase Young came out of a blaster. And the Russell Wilson Gold Kaboom I had came out of a hobby box. 7 in 1 year. All hobby. Well, 6 of 7 were hobby. But like I said, downtown I can't pull to save my life. Not out of a hobby. I honestly don't believe they're in the hobby. I think they're only in retail. On campus, in this year's Prism Draft, downtowns and on campus, nope. Fully believe they're retail only. Between what I've ripped, between what I've done group breaks with, between what I've watched on other break channels, nope. Not in hobby. Now, somebody's going to come forward and say, I hit 1 out of my 1 hobby box. Yeah, that's fantastic. That's 1 in like 8,000 hobby boxes. But yet, guy down the street can go buy 20 blasters from Walmart and hit 4. I just want my Trey Lance. That's all I wanted. Just wanted to hit a Trey Lance on campus, North Dakota State. cheapest I can buy one, like $300 right now. I'm trying to save up for the National. I don't want to spend money right now. Okay, back to product coming out. Luminance, Friday. We have group breaks of it tomorrow night. It's going to be a lot of fun. Museum collection, break tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. Topps Archive Signature Series Retired Edition Baseball. Not doing group breaks of it. It's a 1 card per box. Not a big fan of this product. Or doing group breaks of it. Buyback cards in 1-touches are all autographed. Fantastic if you like that kind of thing. It's not really my type of thing for a group break. Unless I'm doing like a full 16-box case of it. Which I don't have that much coming. They're up for sale on the website right now. And then we have some products coming out Friday. One of which being a NASCAR product. All you NASCAR fans should love this. Chronicles Racing. Also up for sale on the website. But Chronicles Racing, and it's not an absurdly expensive product. I want to say it's like $150, $155. But what you get is 3 autographed cards, 1 memorabilia, and 2 Spectra cards in every box. Not bad value. It's going to look just like your Chronicles that we've been seeing and everything else. It's going to have the same type of cards in it. So your Cornerstones, Spectra, the base Chronicles, Panini. What else do we see? Fusion, Flux. All those probably going to be in it. And then Friday we also have Donruss Elite Football, which I will also be running some group breaks on for next week. And then the highly anticipated Gypsy Queen Baseball comes out Friday as well. So also for sale on the website. So we have a decent amount of product coming out this week. Next week is looking pretty nice as well. We have Sage Aspire Football, which is I want to say it's like 20 autographs per box. It's I'm going to do some hit drafts with this. Yeah, it's 20 cards in a box, 20 autographs. Sage Aspire. We also have Clearly Donruss Basketball coming out next week on Wednesday. We have Topps Clearly Authentic, which is basically Topps Series 1 or Topps Flagship in a clear acetate. And then we also have supposed to be coming out Wild Card Matte Mega Boxes, which is a newer product. Panini Gold Standard Football is also supposed to come out on Friday of next week. Which, as long as that's the case, we're going to be running some group breaks of that one too, just not for next week because it doesn't come out until next Friday. But we've got a lot of stuff coming out over the next couple weeks, so stay tuned, be watching for that stuff. Grab your hobby boxes of it. There's a lot of really good stuff coming out. Tomorrow on Panini's website, the Donruss Elite First Off the Line goes live. I believe it's Donruss Elite First Off the Line. I'm going to try snag a couple boxes of this for group breaks. Oh, sorry, it's a basketball. I want to say it's the Donruss Elite Basketball. Oh, come on. Yes, Donruss Elite Basketball, which is a online exclusive. So none of this is going through wholesalers. It's only through the Dutch auction going live tomorrow on Panini's website. Starts at $600, works its way down. If you're unfamiliar with the Dutch auction, how their Dutch auction works, because this is not a traditional Dutch auction, this is a Panini Dutch auction. I want to make sure that you are aware of that, because a standard Dutch auction, a real Dutch auction, goes all the way down to zero. It goes until product is sold out. Whereas Panini's Dutch auction, they have their starting point, and then they put a floor on it. And this is the lowest it'll sell at. So if it doesn't sell out by X point, tough shit. And that's where Panini likes to rip people off. Because if it was a true Dutch auction, it would just go until it sells out, even if it got down to $25 a box. Which, if that was the case, man, I'd buy them all up. But not a true Dutch auction. It's a Panini Dutch auction. So it starts at 600. I want to say the floor is like 200 or 250 or whatever. I'm going to try to get my hands on a couple of these. These are Donruss Elite Basketball. I'm going to try to get my hands on a couple of these for group breaks. Hopefully they ship in the next couple of days so that we can get that in for break night sometime soon. But because we haven't really had a lot of basketball lately. Noir Basketball was nice last week, but it wasn't anything. With one box. We haven't really done much for basketball lately. And we don't have much for basketball coming up. The next basketball product we've got coming up is Select on the 28th currently. And then aside from that, Onyx Vintage Basketball. Who knows when that's actually even going to drop. And then National Treasures Basketball doesn't come out until August. So we have some time. There's not much basketball coming out anytime soon. Optic Basketball got pushed back. That's now like end of August. In my opinion, Panini's just dropping the ball left and right on this kind of stuff. And it is what it is. I think they're just trying to get through the summer. My opinion. One of the big products we've got coming up in a few weeks is Immaculate Collegiate Football. That's one product that I'm looking forward to, mostly because I need to get the Trey Lance RPA with the Bison logo on it. So if anybody sees one, preferably I'd like to pull it, so I'm not having to drop several $1,000s for it. So Immaculate Collegiate Football. Now, we do have a big event coming up, and I'm going to add it to the website probably in the next day or so. On the events page, I like to keep the local card shows on there. We do have a card show coming up, not this coming weekend, but the weekend after in Auburn, the Twin Oaks Cards and Collectibles Show in Auburn, Washington at the Auburn Outlet Mall, Saturday and Sunday. But then just days after, this guy right here flies to Chicago for my first ever national. I'm looking forward to it. I've never been to a national before. Big card show, biggest card show in the world. And I'm going. I'm going to be there. I am going to document a lot of it. I'm going to be taking a lot of videos, a lot of pictures. And that's very unlike me. I don't like being in either. Surprisingly, considering I'm on a freaking talk show every week. But I don't like pictures of myself. I really don't. But I'm going to do it because I'm going to document it. It's all going to be on the YouTube channel. I'm going to put pictures on the website, all that kind of fun stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. I know a lot of people that are going to be there, and I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of people that I've talked to from around the country that I've never met in person. So that, to me, is going to be a lot of fun. That's probably one of the things I'm looking forward to the most. Obviously, a lot of the deals and a lot of the cool freebies, the swag and stuff that you get there, that's all fine and great. But I'm looking forward to connecting with a lot of these guys that I've known for a lot of years that I've never met in person. Now, there are going to be quite a few people that I do know personally, in person, locally here, that are going to be at the card show as well. I can probably rattle off 30 people from this area alone that are going to the card show, or going to the national. So it's going to kind of be like, you know, any other card show in this area. These same people are going to be there. But I know some people that are setting up as vendors. I know some people that are just attending. I know some people that are just going for a day. I'm going, literally, I fly out Tuesday and I fly back Monday. I'm there for 6 days. Seven, technically. Fly back Monday. 6 nights. I'm there 6 nights. And I got my hotel. I was just talking to my wife about this earlier. I got my hotel pretty much right across from the convention center. And I booked all my stuff before the national was fully announced that it was going to happen. Booked my flight. Booked my hotel. My 6 nights directly across from the convention center. $800. It's like the same hotel right now. It's like $1,800. It's gone up almost $1,000. It's crazy. So I got $800. My flight cost, it's like $375 round trip. So I'm like, all right, that works for me. Now, will this ever happen again? No, probably not. Because the hotel wasn't increasing their price, because they probably weren't banking on the National even happening yet because of COVID. So I got a really good deal. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty excited about it. So I'm going to the National at a significant discount compared to people who waited until June 1st, because this was I booked all my stuff in like March. So, and I was afraid I was late. Like, I had talked to people and they're like, "Oh, it's March, well, you need to book your stuff." I'm like, "Did you book yours?" I'm like, "No. You just told me to book mine. That their tickets aren't going to be available. You haven't booked yours yet, and you're telling me that I'm probably not going to be able to get tickets or a hotel, but yet you haven't booked yours." Either way, I booked well in advance, and I was afraid I was going to be late to the party on all this. I am not. I am making sure, like, I'm taking notes on stuff. I've got I got a pile of paperwork right there for everything that I've signed up for. I've got 2 nights worth of events so far, and I'm waiting on a date because we're going to go to a Cubs game. I'm waiting on one of the guys to get back to me with the group of people that are going to the Cubs game and what night everybody's trying to go, because I would love to go to a Cubs game. It'd be a lot of fun. I love going to different stadiums around the country. It's a blast. So, going to the Cubs game one night, and I probably won't buy my tickets in advance for that. I have this cool little app that I use, and I'm not going to throw their name out yet because I'm waiting for them to throw out some deals. But I have this cool little app that I get really good prices on tickets day of game. Like, for example, my wife and one of her best friends and I went on a trip to Los Angeles a couple years ago, and this was before we got married. And we did a friendcation down there, and we were there on a weekend where the Rams hosted the Texans. Now, Deshaun Watson was hurt, so we didn't get to see Deshaun Watson, but anyway, I waited until the morning of the game. We knew we were going to the game. We'd already talked about this. I waited till the morning of the game. We got end zone in the Coliseum, okay? We got field level end zone by the steps up the Coliseum for it was like $28 a piece. We were right down the field. Marshawn Lynch was at the game for no freaking clue why, but came walking right past us. We were kind of by the stairs, and he came walking within 10 feet of us, 15 feet of us, on his way over to go up the steps. It was cool. It was great atmosphere. It was a lot of fun. And I will say that if you guys want to go travel to a football stadium and you want to go to a game, go to a Rams game. Go to the Coliseum. Actually, well, they're not playing there anymore. But still, go to a Rams game. Rams fans were fantastic. This was the cool thing about it, okay? Coming from somebody who's been to a number of Seahawks games, not because I'm a Seahawks fan, but because I live in the area. I have been in the area for Seahawks games, and I have been to Seahawks games, and I have witnessed firsthand some of the treatment of people wearing non-Seahawks colors, clothing, apparel, whatever. And it's not good most of the time. Going to the Rams game was one of the most inviting fan bases I'd ever seen. We walked around the outside to start with. Atmosphere. I'm a big atmosphere guy. I love the party atmosphere of a game. and it's just tailgating around, not quite 360 degrees around the stadium because there's one side that doesn't really allow tailgating. I would say probably 270 degrees around the stadium was parking lots and party tents and stuff. And so we go walking through. And it's not like this was a not well-attended game. This was a pretty well-attended game. And I'm watching Houston fans and Rams fans embracing, having fun. This was pregame. Drinking together, having fun, hooting and hollering. I'm watching people who are wearing Seahawks gear. I'm seeing people who are wearing Niners gear. I'm seeing people who are wearing San Diego Chargers gear. Yes, there are some fans of the San Diego Chargers. I witnessed it. At least they were wearing the jerseys and shirts and hats. I saw fans from a dozen different NFL teams, all at this game, all at the pre-funks around the stadium beforehand. And Rams fans didn't care. Not one bit. They were tossing beers to people. They were having fun. They were hooting and hollering and laughing. They were welcoming of non-Rams fans. It was like the guy who's hosting a party that wants everybody to be his best friend. It's kind of what it felt like. And it was a lot of fun. We had a blast. There was nobody that I saw that was, "This is my team. I don't want you here. This is my stadium." None of that. None of that. "Oh, you're wearing the opposing team's colors. You're wearing our division rivals' colors. Oh, you can't be." None of that. But yet every game I go to in Seattle of a Seahawks game, I hear, see, have it happen to me where, well, it doesn't happen to me all that often because I'm 6'9", okay? So it doesn't happen to me very often. People don't often get pissy with me. So I'm not a small person. But other people, I see it happening. I've watched it when the Vikings came to town, Monday Night Football. I took some customers out. We went to a game, Monday Night Football. And I watched Seahawks fans harassing Vikings fans. And not in a good-hearted, good-spirited, fun jab type of way. Like, almost death threat level type of way. No need for that. I've been to many games where that's how some of the outside fans are treated. Seahawks preseason game with Dallas, where Dak took over. I listened to people in the corridor yelling at people that were wearing Cowboys gear. That's the game. That was the preseason game where Tony Romo got hurt and never saw the field again. Basically forced him into retirement. That Dak took over. Thus began the Dak era. And I've witnessed stuff like that, and that was not the case in LA. The Rams fans were just different. It was fantastic. It was a lot of fun. I would love to go down to another Rams game, especially now at the new stadium. I would love to go down to their new stadium. But I would go down even if it was at the Coliseum again. I would love to go down to another Rams game. It was a lot of fun. It was a blast. Very inviting fan base. Good on you, Rams fans. If you're a Rams fan, if you're from LA, football fan, and you are that type of fan, I welcome it. Absolutely welcome it. I am all for good-natured ribbing. I am all for competitive spirit. I am all for trash talk. But there's a line that shouldn't be crossed that I think some fan bases do a lot, quite often cross that line. Philadelphia has done it. I've seen Minnesota do it. I've seen Seattle do it time and time again. They went so far in Seattle to put warnings on the back of the chairs and a number for you to text if you're witnessing it happen. If a stadium has to do that because of the fan base, that's a problem. There's no need for that. So, I know it happens. I've been to Kansas City Chiefs games. And I've seen belligerent Kansas City Chiefs fans. and it was a blast of a game. But I never saw the Chiefs fans attack non-Chiefs fans. Now, there was some belligerently drunk trash talk that was happening where the people were so belligerently drunk that they weren't making any sense, and I actually was laughing at it, and you couldn't quite tell if they were serious or joking because they were so belligerently drunk. But it never got out of hand. It never got bad. But it was a lot of fun, and I thought the Chiefs fans were fantastic. Now, I'm sure there's unruly fans in every fan base. I guarantee there's probably some fans in the LA Rams fan base and then in the Chiefs fan base that I was around that I wasn't around, that are those, hateful, spiteful, get out of my stadium type of fans. I guarantee it. I did not witness it. I was around a lot of different fans. I'm a wanderer. I really am. I like to get out and experience it. So like when I was at the Chiefs game, tailgated beforehand, got to see a lot of other Chiefs fans, even though it was downpour. Like we're talking torrential downpour, but then it was over because it's Midwest, and it was over 15 minutes later, and all was good, and it was windy, and then all of a sudden it just dead calm stop, and we're good. But I got to see a lot of Chiefs fans. I wandered through the stadium a little bit, got to see a lot of Chiefs fans, got to see a lot of interactions. I've also been to a Kansas City Royals game when I was in Kansas City. I've traveled to Kansas City a couple times for work. It's a lot of fun. It's a good area. I like that. I like the food in the area. They got really good barbecue in Kansas City. But the fans there were fantastic and very, very welcoming and warm, inviting people. They really are. I have some friends, people that I call friends from social media who are from that area. Same type of people. But there are exceptions to every rule, absolutely. And like I said, I'm sure there were some bad fans at that stadium when I was there in LA, and there was probably some bad ones when I was there in Kansas City. I just didn't see it. But my goal at some point is to experience all 32 NFL stadiums. Well, I can't even do 32 because some share it. I want to be at a home game for all 32 NFL teams. That is my goal, to be at a home game of all 32 NFL teams. So obviously I'm going to have to hit the Jets and the Giants, their stadium twice, because once for each of them. But I want to experience every NFL team in a home game. That's my goal. I've got accomplished a handful so far. Obviously, the Rams, Chiefs. I need to redo the Vikings because they're no longer in the Metrodome. Seahawks, obviously, I've been to. I need to get down to Denver. Denver's the next. Well, actually, Vegas and Denver are the next two closest ones, obviously. So get to those. Shouldn't be too hard. Vegas is going to be expensive, though, I have a feeling, because I'm hearing a lot of rumors about pricing of tickets coming up. That's going to be scary. What's up, David Miller? Welcome. So, anyway, as we were talking about sports cards, the National coming up, I'm gonna have a blast at the National. I'm so looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting to meet a lot of these collectors from around the country and going to a Cubs game. Okay, so we're going to get going on our box rip a little bit early tonight because I, to be honest, lost my topic. I was going to talk about one of my rankings that I've just recently done, and I thought I had it pulled up and saved, and it was the wrong list, so don't have that to do tonight. So we are going to get right over to our box rip for tonight. I hope it's better tonight. Everything seems to be working a lot better tonight. I'm still working on running some tests with Zoom calls and stuff, so hopefully we're all good to go, so I can start having guests back, maybe even next week. As you see in front of you, there's also our box of Bowman Sapphire that we are ripping tomorrow night. The first thing, if you guys ever end up with an issue with the stream, though, just refresh the page, refresh the YouTube page. Sometimes that helps, sometimes it doesn't. But from what I'm being told, everything should be good to go. I upgraded my graphics card, upgraded new patch on the software, so we'll see how it goes. Like I said, I'm going to run some tests. I'm going to run some tests the next couple of nights with, well, except for tomorrow night, obviously we're doing break night, but I'm going to run some tests on some Zoom calls and stuff, and then hopefully we can get back to doing interviews, because I've got some good stuff lined up. And I talked to Tony, that was on last week with me, and I told him what happened, and he is all for coming on the show again, because that was, I wish you guys could have heard, and I wish the replay would have worked, because it was a fantastic conversation with Tony, and I look forward to doing that again. Tony's a great guy, and I definitely look forward to talking to him again. But tonight, we're going to get into our box rip. We're going to rip 2020 Topps WWE Women's Division. This is one autograph and one relic card per box. I was trying to rip this a couple weeks ago, but obviously, with the issues that we were having over the last couple weeks, we couldn't. So here we go. This is, yes, wrestling cards tonight. Now, I'm not a big wrestling cards person. I haven't really watched pro wrestling in over a decade. I fell out after the Attitude Era kind of went away. Attitude Era was my jam. Well, let's hope we hit something fun out of this. So it's one pack. 60 cards. Holy crap. It's the size of a blaster box. And it's 60 cards. Thank you, David. Yeah, tomorrow night should be a blast. I am stoked for tomorrow night. Make sure you all get your spots for tomorrow night. All right, so here are the base cards, and the first one we have is a horizontal card. So it's a moment. SmackDown Women's Championship champion Asuka defeats Mandy Rose on 3/18/19. So these look to be mostly moments. Charlotte Flair defeats Asuka. Lacey Evans blindsides Becky Lynch. Kabuki Warriors defeat Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. Sasha Banks. Women's Tag Team Champions Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross defeat the Iconics. Charlotte Flair defeats Bayley. The Boss and Hug Connection. Bayley, Charlotte Flair. Io Shirai takes out her frustrations on Candice LeRae. They're nice looking cards. Rhea Ripley confronts Shayna Baszler. NXT, so there's SmackDown, there's Raw, there's NXT. Sasha Banks defeats Becky Lynch. Oop, skipped one. Another Charlotte Flair. Yeah, so these are all moments by the looks of it. Another Sasha Banks. So this is an orange border, numbered out of just 50. Charlotte Flair defeats Trish Stratus, numbered out of 50. SmackDown moment from 8/11/2019, numbered out of 50. Very cool. And our auto is Shayna Baszler, numbered out of 99. 46/99. Shayna. And that's an on-card auto. And then our memorabilia card, Mia Yim, also numbered out of 99. 54/99. Mia Yim, Royal Rumble 2020 event used matte relic. Very cool. So now we're getting some non-event cards. So Mickie James, Nia Jax, Kaylee Ray, Jessamine Duke, Marina Shafir, Beth Phoenix, Lana, Renee Young, Chelsea Green, Aaliyah, Mia Yim, Lacey Evans, Superstar Transformations, Ruby Riott. So it looks like before and after. Naomi, Sonya Deville, Paige. That's who the movie was Fighting with My Family was after, was Paige. Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan. And we have a Breaking Barriers. Alundra Blaze wins WCW Cruiserweight Championship back in 1999. Ronda Rousey slams Triple H through a table. Chyna becomes the first woman to enter the Men's Royal Rumble, January 24th, 1999. I remember that, actually. That's back in my era of watching wrestling. Nia Jax enters the Men's Royal Rumble match in 2019. Women's main event WrestleMania for the first time ever, 2019. And last card, WWE holds their first ever all women's pay-per-view event, Evolution, in 2018. So the three standout cards, obviously, Charlotte Flair defeats Trish Stratus, orange out of 50. The Mia Yim matte relic out of 99. And the Shayna Baszler auto out of 99. On-card auto. And that was one box of 2020 WWE Women's Division Hobby. I'm not sure, Donnie. I don't know. I don't know if the product is short printed or not. We only saw 3 numbered cards in it, so I'm not sure. I haven't looked too deep into the product, so I'm not sure how everything else was. Okay, so we're going to do some giveaways on this stuff tonight. We're going to do 2 sets of giveaways. We're going to do the first pile, this pile here, which is all the non-dated. Well, actually, it's not all non-dated. This is the base wrestler cards plus the transformations and the breaking barriers cards, along with the Shayna Baszler auto, and then the other moments cards, all the moments cards, base cards, and the Maya Yim event used mat. So those are going to be the two lots we're going to give away tonight. I got to see if I still have a... There we go. Okay, so if you want to win, just type me in the chat, M-E in the chat, if you want to win. First while everybody's getting in. 7. Remember that. We're going to roll the dice, or we're going to randomize the list 7 times. Alright. Taylor. Donnie. Shane. I'm going to give it another minute for anybody that wants to get in. And don't forget, tomorrow night we have a big break night. We have Bowman Sapphire Baseball, Random Division 1 box. There's 1 spot left in that. We have Luminance Football, 1 box, plus 1 TriStar Mini Helmet, Random Division. There's a few spots left in that one. We also have Luminance Football 2 Hobby Box plus a TriStar Jersey PYT. That one's half full. And then we also have the Master Box Challenge using Museum Collection Baseball. There's 1 spot left in that one. And then we also have 2 mini helmet randoms that are still up on the board as well. $17 a spot, random division. I feel you there, Taylor. Definitely feel you there. Okay, so it looks like we've only got the 4 in tonight, so let's do this. We're going to randomize 7 times. 1. Good luck, everybody. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and number 7. Good luck. Shane winning lot number 1 with the Shayna Baszler auto. Baszler, sorry. And Mr. Miller winning lot number 2 with the Mia Yim event used mat. Congratulations, you guys. Picture of this taken. Oh, let's see. No card shows this weekend. The next card show isn't until the 24th, I believe. So no card shows that I'm going to this weekend. There is a Dallas show this weekend, but I won't be at this Dallas show. My aim is to be at the August Dallas card show. And then we have Auburn the 24th and 25th, I believe. And then the weekend after that is the National. which, just a heads up, and I'll remind you guys, I'll remind everybody of this over the next couple weeks. The week of the National, I will not be doing Sports Stuff Hub Live, and I will not be doing Break Night on Wednesday because I'm going to be in Chicago. I'm actually going to be flying during the show on Tuesday because I fly Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to be at the National. My guess is there's going to be an after function that I'll probably be at because I'm trying to set something up each night that I'm there. So the last week of July, there will be no show and no break night, just so you guys know. I just want to make sure everybody's aware. And again, I'll mention that the next couple weeks as well. Okay, Miller is foregoing his stack and sending to Donnie. Congratulations, Donnie. Yeah, so break night tomorrow night, though. Make sure you guys get your spots because it's loaded. We are going to pull some massive cards. I can already feel it. Just like last week, we had 3 Break Hall of Fame editions. Make sure you guys are going on and checking it out. It's I know most of you guys are usually on the stream for break night on Wednesdays, but man, it's a lot of fun. So and we're getting more people involved, and we're getting the breaks moving a lot faster. We had all of our card breaks done by like 8:30 last week. So that's a lot. That's cool as we're getting more people. We're spreading it out a little bit more. Continue growing. And my goal is to be able to get break night a little bit bigger so we can go from, 3, 4, 5 breaks to, maybe running 6, 7, 8, 9 breaks in a night, but having them get filled faster. And then maybe down the road, get somebody hired and we can do more break nights that I don't have to, that I won't be running, but the company will run. So that's the goal in the short term. And we continue to grow. So I'm gonna get you guys out of here a little bit early tonight. Obviously, with tonight was more kind of a test night to see how the stream was handling things, and then I'm gonna run some tests with some guests, faux guests, for the next couple of days, so that maybe next week I can get a guest lined back up. So we can redo some of those interviews. Probably get Eric Doty back on as well at some point, since that interview was corrupted as well. Yeah, so worst case scenario, I'll grab Dean or Taylor and we'll shoot the shit with some sports going on for the week. Did anybody catch the MLB home run derby last night before we let go? I know a lot of people were disappointed with the Ohtani. With how Ohtani did. And I will say, I felt like he was in a no-win situation going into it. And if he didn't hit 35, he was going to be viewed as being not living up to the potential anyways. I was fine with what he did. I just think that because he hadn't worked with the pitching, the guy pitching to him in like 5 months, they said, I had a feeling they were going to have some chemistry issues. And once he kind of got into a rhythm, yeah, he caught back up. But, I mean, I really didn't expect Ohtani to win the thing anyways. Pete Alonso is just a freaking monster. And the guy he had pitching to him was insane. That was a blast watching Alonso just go yanking him left and right. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was fun. I enjoy that kind of stuff. I like watching them just hit, crank homer after homer after homer and watching them just go deep. Now, granted, yes, I know a lot of people were upset with the pace of it and whatnot. It is what it is. The way they run it is the way they run it. I don't really care about how they run it. The one thing I will say that I was a little, frustrated with was like when a guy sets the record for the longest home run, make a deal out of it. It was like goes 520, breaks the record, and it's like, yeah, they went 520, and then they move on. It's like, no, come on, I get it that it's going. The pace was too fast for them to do, but I just think ESPN did a really poor job of promoting it of talking about it during the actual event, and that was because it was going too fast. So yes, there's different ways they could do it, like the old formats where it was what 10? They got 10 swings or whatever it was, but I liked I saw that there was benefits to the pace, but to me it doesn't really matter as long as everybody's on the same playing field. So if everybody's on the same playing field, then so be it. Now, if everybody had the same guy throwing them the ball as Pete Alonso had, we might have seen several people yanking 30 home runs last night in a round. So who knows? Who knows? But it was a lot of fun. I enjoy that kind of thing. I like All-Star games. I like the games that the pros get to play. And I'm not watching the All-Star game tonight. Trying to think the last time I watched an All-Star game. I'm trying to think the last time I watched any sports All-Star game. I just don't. I mean, it's me. It doesn't mean anything to me. I think the last time I watched it was probably the NFL back in like the 90s. So, but, okay, now I'm really going to let you guys go. Okay, so 7:40. All right, so I will see you guys. Wait, what's everybody saying? All-Star game is much better with the... There you go, Donnie. That's what I'm talking about. Watching the All-Star game while he's listening to me. Alonso is a beast. Tonight he said he hasn't taken batting practice since spring training. Otani. That makes sense. They autographed the balls. I did see some people showing that the first round of balls were autographed. Now, apparently it was only the balls that were hit in the first round. And if they went through them, they went through them. If they didn't, I saw Soto's pitcher grabbed a couple of balls out of it because he didn't get through them all. And so my guess is those were some of the autographed balls. But that's pretty awesome. That was a fantastic concept. I guarantee that was not a Rob Manfred idea. Guarantee. No way that Rob Manfred would think of a brilliant idea like that. So, all right, guys. I'm going to get you guys out of here. I will see you all tomorrow night on break night. If I don't see you tomorrow night, I will see you right back here next week for Sports Stuff Hub Live on the 20th. Have a good night, everybody, and stay safe out there.